Well, hi everyone, and welcome back. Today, I want to share with you 5 lessons that I've learned in 5 years as a minimalist. And I cannot believe how fast time has flown. It feels like just yesterday that I was decluttering my home and my life for the first time. But it's been 5 years, and in that time, I've learned a lot of lessons that have stuck with me. So today, I want to share with you 5 lessons that I've learned throughout my minimalism journey, and hopefully they can inspire and help you as you seek to live a more simple and meaningful life. And I'm excited to get right into these lessons, so if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let's go. The journey is the destination. When I first started decluttering and simplifying my life, it took a while before I ever would have considered myself a minimalist. I had this idea in my head that I needed to declutter to reach a certain number of possessions, and once I reached that point, then I could call myself a minimalist. But over time, I've come to realize that there is no end goal of own this many things and you can call yourself a minimalist. The whole point of minimalism is that it's about an attitude and an approach, not a number. Your life and your lifestyle will change and evolve naturally over time, so you can't just one and done declutter and be done with it forever. And so instead, as our lives change, we need to continually curate our life and our possessions. And so there is no end goal or destination with minimalism. It's about that journey and that process of embracing over the course of your life the benefits of simplicity and intentionality. And honestly, in some ways that can be harder because you can't just declutter to a certain number and then call it a day. Instead, you really need to work on changing and adapting your mindset and attitudes. It's not a competition. How much you need, use, and enjoy owning is going to be personal to you. There are a lot of different examples out there on different ways that minimalism can look, whether that's living in a backpack and traveling the world, staying in a tiny house or doing van life, or simply just living in an ultra minimal apartment. And if that lifestyle and that amount of possessions is what you really love and get value from, then that's fantastic. Go for it and pursue that. But like we were just talking about, that shouldn't be the goal and what we're striving for. And what I've discovered is that some people do get a lot of value from that extreme minimalism lifestyle, but others prefer having a few more everyday comforts available to them while still being intentional with what they own. And it took a couple of years for me to really understand this, but personally I fall into that second camp. And so we shouldn't waste our time trying to own the least amount of possessions possible, but instead we should really make an effort to identify what the right number of possessions is for us. Minimalism can and should look different from person to person. And so it's important to really consider, what do you want it to look like when lived out practically in your life? It doesn't end with stuff. When I first started decluttering and simplifying my life, I started, like most people do, with decluttering my physical possessions. I went through my kitchen, my wardrobe, my bedroom, my bathroom, and got rid of tons and tons of items that I didn't need and wasn't using. But minimalism is about so much more than your things. Yeah, it can often start there, but tidying up our physical possessions, more often than not, and it definitely did for me, tends to open up the door for us being able to apply minimalism and that idea of simplicity to other areas of our life. And I can point to so many areas, whether that's my finances, my schedule, how I prioritize, how I run my business, that minimalism has really had an impact on the way that I approach them. And honestly, the difference that really trying to simplify in those areas has made has been just as, if not more impactful than decluttering my physical possessions. It's all about just taking that idea of less is more and applying it to the various aspects of your life. I find that I'm a lot less stressed and far more able to pursue and really make the most out of the things that I enjoy when I apply that idea of simplicity to every aspect of my life. Okay, and we have a couple other amazing lessons to get to, but before we do, I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, SKILLSHARE. And SKILLSHARE is an online learning community with thousands of amazing classes where you can explore new skills, deepen your existing passions, and explore your creativity. And SKILLSHARE has classes on everything from productivity to photography to watercoloring and painting to minimalism and so much more. And one class that I recently took is Productivity for Creatives. Build a system that brings out your best. It's taught by Thomas Frank, and I love the idea he shared in it that inspiration strikes on a schedule. By building habits and structure into our routine, we can actually increase our creativity. And one of my favorite things about Skillshare is that it's really curated for learning. So there are no ads, and they're always launching amazing new premium classes. And what's really exciting is that for a limited time, the first 1,000 people to click on the link in the description box below can get a free 1-month trial of Skillshare. So be sure to check that out so you can start exploring and go wherever your creativity takes you. But now let's continue on with our minimalist life lessons. You can't buy happiness. And I think that this is a lesson that most of us would say that we know, but for most of us, including myself before I became a minimalist, there's a disconnect between what we say we know and how we actually live. We're always thinking about the next purchase, the next item, the next upgrade, without ever really being content with what we have. But what's really cool is that minimalism really helps you to feel the impact of this saying in real life. Because yeah, you can buy a new shirt or a new car and you'll feel excited about it in the moment. But that dopamine rush and that momentary happiness is transitory. It won't last. And so one of the things that I love about minimalism is the fact that it kind of frees us from that cycle and helps us to firsthand experience and not just think about, but really grasp the meaning of the fact that the best things in life aren't things. And that really frees us up and allows us to focus on what is meaningful, the people, the relationships, the growth, the experiences that really do fill our lives with purpose and joy. And that really is the perfect segue to our final lesson. Living with less is freeing. This one is so powerful, and I've seen it tangibly play out in my own life. I've been able to say yes to a lot of really exciting opportunities and experiences that I never would have been able to do apart from minimalism. Literally, probably as you're watching this, I'm in Europe right now, and I was able to take off and travel for a month. Because yes, I am pre-recording this, so you guys have some videos to watch while I'm gone. I also had the freedom to make the decision to take a lower paying job that I was more passionate about than the higher paying job that I knew I wouldn't enjoy. All because we applied minimalist principles and were really intentional about our finances for years. Now granted, I do make more now, but that definitely wasn't the case when I started. And then on a far more simple level, it frees up things like my time and attention because I'm not having to worry about my possessions or spend tons of time cleaning or tidying. And those are just a few examples, but what I've found is that often when we talk about minimalism, people immediately go to what you're giving up. We need to say no to these things. We need to declutter these things. And yeah, there is a giving up in the process of embracing a minimalist lifestyle. But what's so important is that we really keep our focus on and learn to appreciate, okay, we're getting rid of these things, but why? It's so that we can say yes and free up our availability, our time and attention to be able to pursue the things that we love. And for sure, it's going to look different from person to person, but that's really the beauty of it. Minimalism helps us focus on what's important to us. So those are the 5 lessons that I've learned in the past 5 years of trying to live a more minimalist life, and it really has been an incredible journey. It hasn't always been easy, but creating an intentional life and home is so worth it. Now I want to know though, what's one lesson that you've learned in your journey towards simplicity? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. And don't forget that if you want to start exploring your creativity today, you can just check out the link in the description box below to get your first 1 month free with Skillshare. That's everything I've got for you today, but if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and like I was hinting at before, I'm traveling through Europe right now, so if you want to join on all of my adventures in Europe, make sure that you're following me on Instagram. I'm at ashlynne.eaton on there, and I'd love to have you join our little excursion adventure through Europe. It's going to be such a fun time, and as always, the link to my Instagram will be in the description box below for you. But thank you guys all so much for coming along with me. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one.